So I purchased this Bora base kit quite a number of years ago, actually, a couple of years ago. I'm not even sure if this is available anymore. At the time, they had a couple versions of this. One used 2x2s, and this one uses just a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. And so this is the one I opted for. This is going to be going underneath a bandsaw that was just given me from California. And the one thing it is missing is any kind of a caster. And so this is the footprint of that bandsaw. So I'm looking at 25 by, I think this was something like 23 and a half. But I need to put this together. Interesting that the instructions are all the way down underneath all the hardware. We'll get down to it and get all this figured out. Hey, look at that. I can get 15% off my next order. I order within 2 years of my purchase, hopefully. That's interesting. So what is that plate there? Does that go on top? It sure does. Okay. So these will wind up wherever they wind up. Let's say this one goes here, and then that plate is going to go there. Huh. All this hardware. And one of these or two of these will act as the foot pedal, and there will be a retractable caster. Whoop, that's got a countersink on one side, but that must be the side that goes up. So there's a swivel caster that goes underneath this end, the retractable side, and a straight caster that'll go in there. If memory corrects me, if memory corrects me, yeah, memory will correct me. If my memory is correct, all I have to do is to mark and bore holes at these locations for the bolts. Let's assemble the various assemblies. Oh, that's right. That's right. So in addition to a pedal that's going to lift this up onto the casters, this one also has a foot. So I guess when the casters are down, it's resting on that foot. Makes sense. See, I can see why I bought this thing. That's all very intuitive, isn't it? So that means that's going to have a nut on the bottom and a nut on the top, and very likely some form of a washer. So let's see, what does this say? H. Where'd it go? There it is. Wow. A little bit hard to make out here. So that is part I, which is a jam nut, M5 jam nut. Goes in the bottom, a jam nut in the bottom. Okay, M5 jam nut. They go through. There is no washer, and it's not telling me that there's a jam nut on top. There has to be. Okay. Oh, no, there doesn't have to be if the bracket is threaded. Okay, well, that makes sense now. It goes in, and we'll use the jam nut later to lock that in place. But I can live with that. Go and do likewise on the opposite side. Putting that jam nut all the way at the bottom so I can have the full range of adjustment, and then I'll adjust that to its proper position. Okay, kind of cool. Well, that needs to be further assembled. We've got a caster Does the caster pass straight through? It sure does. Followed by, what kind of a nut is that? G. Serrated shoulder nut. That's going to be this one with the kind of a cap-shaped head. And this is the time I need to be breaking out wrenches. Caster. I'm an idiot. There we go. Come on. There we go. One done. And that gets a nylock. You know, the nice thing about that being that shape too is it puts on the outside where you're going to pass around the tool. You get the nice smooth carriage bolt heads, not the nuts on the outside. So that's cool. But I don't know, doesn't feel right. Did I do that wrong again? Casters. Yep, I did it wrong. Oh, I gotta slow down. I assembled some of the parts upside down. Oh, that's more better. Yeah. Okay. So that recess there lets the caster raise up a bit higher. Still feels it still feels awfully high. We'll see when we get to it. For now, just get these tight enough that they're not gonna come loose. Being nylock washers or nylock nuts, once you get the nylon engaged, no problem. That, yeah, I guess that does let it sit down on the floor there. Okay, try this again. Got to turn this one over. Looks so nice that way, though. Carriage bolt. Sure, this video competes with all the high polished videos produced by Bora. Wrong size. Wrong size. Oh, I need just two more of these. Oh, look at that. Everything I said before, that's going to put the nut on the outside. Oh, Bora. Come on. Just when I give you credit for being smart, you go and do that. Okay. Let's get the bolt, washer, bolt. Get that bolt just barely poking through there. Ah, what a pain. See if we can slide that over. Here we go. Got her on. Okay. This. the inside because of the countersink through the washer, spacer, I guess we should call it, onto the wheel. Slide that over. I'm tilting that axle, if you will, and then sliding this in on top of that hub. Oh, there we go. That did it. And then we need the washer. I mean the nut. Drop it. Okay, we just about have this thing licked now. Just checking to see how this is going to work. Those are threaded, so there are no more nuts and washers to worry about. And I can see now why these holes seem super oversized, but I can see that allows for a little bit of error on my part drilling and on their part stamping and threading. So that's pretty smart. I just need to find where I put my screwdriver and do my best not to strip the threads. Get another bolt in there. Looks like it's got some other bolts left over. Typically means I've done something wrong. No, no, no. Those are all those other bolts. I just got a bunch of these. Wow. I might just give in and use a torque wrench. Maybe not a torque wrench. Still continue to use my drill here. Let's switch it from drilling to driving. Set the clutch down a little bit. Give it a try. Okay. Here's the off the road. And the way I need to use this tomorrow is I absolutely need this lifted up off of its feet because I got to roll it down off of a trailer. So it wouldn't bother me if while these were retracting, if it's still rolled, but that'll do. We'll load this up tomorrow.